Hi guys, it's Ravy. I'm here to talk you through the latest patch which introduces factions. So what that means is enemies. I've got an enemy here, a shaman. Click on the enemy stash, you can see there's now a faction panel at the bottom. There's 4 factions. The player, which enemies are allowed to be in the player faction, which means they'll fight alongside the players, and also they won't attack the player and the player won't be able to do damage to them. And then there's 3 enemy factions. By default, so all your previous worlds, all the enemies will count as being in enemy faction 1, which is the default thing, and obviously all players are in the player faction. But every faction is against each other. So if you wanted 2 enemy factions to fight each other but still be against the player, you could set one set to enemy 1 and 1 set to enemy 2. So you can only ever be in one faction. Then by default, when an enemy is fighting another enemy, they will do a lot less damage, very little damage, and they won't be able to take the enemies below 50% health. So you can have these big battles going on and they don't end. You don't end up with bits of skeletons everywhere and everything's gone. So it means you can turn up to a fight and watch it going on and be in the middle of it. But also you can tick this, and that means that when fighting another enemy they will do full damage. So that kind of opens up lots of possibilities. Obviously you can put two bosses versus each other, or a load of skeletons versus a boss, and just to see what happens, that kind of thing. But it also means you can do things like have a hero. I've got that set up over here. This is my little test map for it. You see these 2, I've got 2 elite Death Knights and then 1 normal Death Knight. Obviously these would normally pound this guy, but he's set to do full damage and they're not, so they'll start fighting each other, and then he's going to turn up and beat them into the ground because he's doing full damage. And I've got some others out here. We can see these goblins, they're on my side. These turrets aren't, so they'll be fighting the turrets, but not me. This Death Knight is also on my side. And over here I've got a boss that is doing full damage, and he's that nasty samurai boss. And then I've got lots of ninjas and a few goblins outside here. They're all on my side and they're doing full damage as well. So I just need to lure him out here, and he's going down. We've got a couple of bosses, the Orc Chieftain, and some other things. So let's just have a look at what happens. Yeah, there's that shaman. I'm just going to kill him. You can see there's a big fight going on here. The goblins versus the turrets. These goblins have been pummeled quite hard, but you see they're not going below 50% health because they're set to do minimal damage and not maximum damage. So that means I can come along and finish off these turrets and take the XP. And we can see here these bosses, a bit of a scrap. There we go, because the normal Death Knight's doing full damage, he's taking them out. It's pretty cool. I can join in. I mean, if enemies are fighting enemies, they normally stay doing that. But if I come up and start joining in the fight, he's going to. He died. He was just about to hit me. So that was the end of the line for that guy. If we head over here, we've got the samurai boss, who I'm very scared of, so I'm just going to lure him out. Let my friends take care of him. And all the ninjas are teleporting in. That's the end of him. We've got a little turret set up behind this wall, because I've also, it looks like the orcs are fighting. Got this turret set up because they can no longer shoot through walls, as you can see, which is quite cool. And then there's a big fight going on here. The mushroom guys are all on my side, and so's the shaman, so he's healing them. They're not doing full damage anyway, but it's just so it looks cool. And then there's two wraiths duking it out. They're again doing minimal damage to each other, so the fight just carries on. You can see I can get fairly close, and they'll still carry on. And I've got this shaman doing some healing there. Some skellies and some goblins. And then we've got Anubis versus the Wraith Master. They're going at it full damage. Ooh, the Wraith Master. I've seen him lose, but he usually wins. It's a tough one. As you can see, if I want to get stuck into this fight, I can. I've just got it set on easy, so I don't stand much chance of dying. So I say you can have these big epic battles, and obviously you can set this with last week's patch that lets you spawn stuff in. You could spawn a big fight in, and you can set these enemies to do full damage to each other, or oops, I don't want to be standing there, or just minimal damage, so the fight's more, so you can see it all going on, see this big war happening, and then join in. So that's it. Hope you like it, and I'll see you next time.